here's your conservative, but not bitter host, Todd Huff.
Well, that is right. You are listening to the home of conservative, not bitter talk, and I am your host, Todd Huff. Email, as always. Do my best to respond to as many of those emails as possible. Todd at ToddHuffShow.com. You can also connect with us on Facebook. You can also, connect with us on YouTube and other social channels, as well as we're streaming the program live on multiple platforms today. Good to be here. Thank you for joining us. It appears now that the Republicans in the Senate, which again, to go through what we've been talking about the past, this entire week now, the past couple of days, Republicans being in control of the executive branch of government with the election of Donald J. Trump in 2016, who, by the way, stood against, the impeachment. The House impeached him, but they did not remove him from office, even though this caused the left to howl and scream at the universe. President Trump, in spite of all of their efforts, is still president, and as such, holds the authority to nominate someone to the Supreme Court. That's not something that only is granted to the President of the United States at certain times of the year. It's not something that is available to the President, or it's not only a valid power, constitutional power of the President in the 3 years that are not election years in his term. It's all 4 years. It's a full-time thing. If he's president, he has the power. This is not complicated for those who confuse and conflate this. It's either for one of two reasons. Number one, they're just genuinely confused. Number two, they're deliberately trying to mislead you. It is an absolute power of the executive branch. It is a power that is defined clearly for the president to have at all times. Now, because our founders were geniuses in many, many ways, they said this is not a power that is only reserved for the president. The president can make an appointment, can make a nomination to the high court, but we want another branch of the government to have oversight. And so they declared that the Senate would have an advise and consent role in the president's nominations. That power, just like the president's power, applies to the U.S. Senate when that U.S. Senate is, in a certain during a congressional cycle, a 2-year term of the Senate. It's the 100, I don't even know the number of the Congress, but it's a such and such number of Congress. That term of Congress, which has clearly defined start and end dates during said period of time, which we are not outside of those time constraints at this point. By the way, when we are outside of those time constraints, it begins the new Congress. So there's not a time where there's not, these powers are not available to the Senate and to the president. These are powers that are given to them as defined in the Constitution, and it is the prerogative of both the president and the Senate to do their respective jobs in this search, if you will, in this process of filling the seat vacated by Ruth Bader Ginsburg with her tragic passing over this past weekend. President Trump says he's making an announcement at the White House on Saturday, naming his new pick. And the Senate now, 51 of them, Republicans, that's a majority. There's 100 seats in the Senate. 51 of the 53, perhaps 52 of the 53. The Lisa Murkowski position, she's since kind of clarified this. I saw this. Actually, I was being interviewed yesterday, and I actually made this kind of this point, I said, look, I don't necessarily know what Murkowski and Collins, Senators Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins, meant when they said they think, they're not in favor of proceeding with a nominee prior to the election. I don't know that uniformly rules out that they'll vote for that nominee. It may just have been, hey, I don't think we should be doing this. It may mean no matter who the nominee is, I'm going to vote against him or her. It's going to be a her. I'm going to vote against her because it is something I just oppose. I don't know if they clarified that. And I said that yesterday during the interview, and someone listening in the chat box had shared something I hadn't seen yet. This is at alaskapublic.org. Headline: Alaska's Senator Murkowski says she can't rule out voting for Trump's Supreme Court pick. This posted yesterday. She said, I know everyone wants to ask the question, will you confirm the nominee? We don't have a nominee yet, she continued. You and I don't know who that is, and so I can't confirm whether or not I can confirm a nominee when I don't know who the nominee is. And so that is one of the two that is listed as someone who's in opposition against Trump's pick, or at least Trump's plan to announce a pick this week. She's out there saying she can't tell us if she'll vote for or against this person. So anyway, the point is, Republicans, after Mitt Romney yesterday said that he's supporting, he's on board with pursuing or continuing this process of Trump filling the seat vacated by Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Mitt Romney said this yesterday. And so when that happened, I saw this headline in the New York Times that we tweeted out that you could almost feel the headline. You could feel that they were crossing their fingers, hoping that Mitt Romney would come on board with this ludicrous position that states the Senate cannot exercise its constitutional authority because there's an election. What on earth? Because there's an election. The Senate can choose to say we're not going to act just as they did in 2016. I don't understand what's so hard to understand about this. I really don't. I think if someone doesn't understand this, they just fundamentally need to have some things explained to them, and I'm happy to do it. Don't misunderstand. But they just need to have a fundamental understanding of what the American system of government, the Constitution. It is clear. There's nothing even remotely close to saying that this cannot be done. There may be people who say politically it should not be done. There may be politically people out there who say this absolutely should be done. And both can make their case. And it might depend case by case on who you are, where you're up for election or re-election, I guess, in the case of senators who would be voting on this. But there's a lot of factors and a lot of things at play here. But just because something politically may not be advisable or whatever doesn't mean it cannot be done. I don't understand, again, the difficulty in grasping this. I don't know if people believe that, that everything in this world is dictated to us by some power, some group of people that can say, yes, we'll permit this. No, we can't permit this. The Constitution allows for this. The Constitution allows for this, and that's the end of the story. Republicans have power. The Constitution says they can do it. There you go. Now, it appears that Trump is poised to make his announcement, which he said he'll make on Saturday of his nominee. One can expect that meetings either have or will take place today, yesterday, the next few days, where Trump will meet with his top couple of picks, maybe just his top pick. We don't know. See, this is the thing. The beauty of what Trump has done here. He's announced his he's released his list. He's released his list. I've said before that I think Trump should have said, look, here's my list. And as I think about what you guys did with Brett Kavanaugh, I'm going to say, here's my list of 20 nominees. If you have a problem with any of these 20, if any of these 20 are going to elicit the sort of response we saw Brett Kavanaugh get before the Senate, back here a couple of whatever that was. Was that 2 years ago? Yeah, 2 years ago now. Anyway, yeah, it was. I guess it was 2 years ago. The point is, whenever this, if this is going to happen to anybody else, here's 20 names. You don't have to drag them through the mud at this point in time, but go ahead and put a little star next to the person. Go ahead and send an anonymous email to this account. My administration will monitor those. If any of these nominees are going to warrant this sort of response, speak now or forever hold your peace. And we'll do this quietly, the way this should have been done with Kavanaugh, if it was in fact legitimate allegations and this whole thing was not orchestrated or played for political purposes as it was by the radicals on the left. But let's just say for a moment, you have a problem with one of these 20, two of these 20. If you have problems with 20 out of 20, folks, then I'm beginning to say you're not really interested in doing your job and looking at the merits of the person. You're trying to engage in character assassination and so forth. But so this list has been out there, and to some extent, of course, he's updated the list or released a list that had the names of Cruz and other folks, Josh Hawley from Missouri. But my point is that he's had his list. We know. He's made it known from the beginning. Biden won't release a list. Biden said he would release a list. Now he says he's not going to, and he gives a couple of silly reasons as to why. But I'll tell you why he doesn't want to release a list. If he releases a list of nominees and they appear too moderate, he's going to lose the socialists in this election. If he releases a list that has the name of radical extreme leftists, he's going to lose the moderates. Either one of these two things cause problems for Joe Biden here in the next 6 weeks. So the question is, if there's a vacancy, he's going to appoint somebody, and we know he's hiding it for political purposes. Trump's out there being transparent. Trump's going to pick names on this list. It appears, the experts tell us, it's going to be Amy Coney Barrett. Now, I don't know. I don't have any inside information. It's not a surprise. Her name was the first one I thought of because she was close to being the selection from what reports were when Brett Kavanaugh was appointed. I believe it was said at the time that Trump was holding on to her for if and when there was a vacancy made by, with Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She'd been in declining health problems for quite some time. Apparently Trump wanted to make sure he replaced a female on the court with another female. I don't know. So it's not surprising that her name's in this mix. But we know that this is not going to be an easy, simple process. Some people have already postulated that because Amy Coney Barrett is a Catholic, we're about to witness some anti-Catholic bigotry as we move in to this process of getting her, if she's the pick, nominated to confirmed on the high court. So Republicans now appear to be poised to move forward with this. It appears that they have the votes in theory, unless, of course, through this confirmation process, there's a reason, which the only reason at this point, if I must be so blunt as to say, would be something that they thought would hurt them politically, something the media would incessantly attack them on, something like that. But Trump has emboldened Republicans in ways that, in fact, I want to talk about that next segment. I want to talk about what has happened since 2016. I think some of us need to just pause and think, there's been a lot of things that, of course, culturally, politically have just been atrocious with the way people have responded, the way people have, in the past 4 years, their hatred for this country has reached new heights. But I want to look at it from the perspective of looking at these, the people who are serving in our government. I use that word a little bit loosely because they get compensated quite well and they get a lot of perks. But you look at, they've been empowered. They have kind of a renewed sense of strength that I think can be traced back to one Donald J. Trump. This didn't happen. This sort of thing. I think Republicans would have caved had something like this happened prior to Donald Trump, given the environment that we're facing today. Maybe not, but I think that there's been a lot of wimps in these positions. And so to just basically shrug off all these accusations, allegations, attacks, and so forth by the left, by the media, and say, look, it's our constitutional authority. We're going to proceed with this. Say about it, threaten us as you will, threaten political retribution as you have done, but we are going to proceed here with this choice, with this process of nominating whomever it is. Could be Amy Coney Barrett, could be a couple of other females that Trump might nominate as well. But anyway, talk about how the landscape has changed since 2016, which it has, and it's because of Trump. It's because of Trump, and it's amazing to me. It's amazing to me the never-Trumpers, the folks that, held their nose. And I understand some things, but look, this is a political battle. This is actually a cultural, I would even maintain, spiritual and cultural battle, which manifests itself on the political playing field. And we have to fight there. We have to win there. And whatever you think about Trump, like him, hate him, the guy knows how to engage in said battles on the political battlefield. And he has empowered a lot of Republicans to find a little bit of that bravado and strength as well. We'll talk about that after the break. Sit tight. You're listening here to the home of conservative, not bitter talk. I am your host, Todd Huff. By the way, be advised, listening to this program can stop and even eliminate, cure liberalism. In fact, it may cause you to lean to the right as you're listening to this program. So if you're operating heavy machinery, driving into work this morning, be careful. You might find yourself veering to the right here. Be back in just a minute.
Listen to Todd's show on your way to work, but want to hear more? Don't miss a beat. Visit toddhuffshow.com/listen to catch the program anytime, anywhere.
All right, here we go. $100 down, $200 $300.
I went to my first firearms auction a few years ago. It was hosted by TJ Freege, one of my good friends from high school, who is a champion auctioneer and one of the best in the business. In spite of objections from liberal legislators, I walked away with a .22 rifle and a few boxes of ammunition. And I had a great afternoon with my grandpa that I won't soon forget. If you've ever wondered what treasure you could find in an auction, visit FreegeAuctioneers.com and take a look at their upcoming Central Indiana auction schedule. That's Freege, Freije, auctioneers.com. Visit FreegeAuctioneers.com.
Hi, I'm TJ Freege, owner and lead auctioneer at Freege & Freege Auctions and Marketing. I invite you to come see the power of live auctions. It's fast, it's fun, it's transparent, and it's the absolute best way to ensure you get fair market value for your asset today. Get results, go auction.
What if your bank treated you like a person instead of an account number? What if you could sit across from the person you are opening an account with or requesting a loan from and have an actual conversation? You may be thinking, Todd, that's crazy talk. Well, not at Citizens Bank. Come visit them in Monrovia and meet Nick Gibson, their new branch manager, and the rest of their staff. Or give them a call at 317-831-0110. Citizens Bank is an equal housing lender and member FDIC.
Business leaders, are your employees satisfied with their jobs? Do they enjoy coming to work and feel valued? Workforce Chaplains can help. Locally owned, we work with organizations to provide holistic care to their employees. I'm Marcus Schrader, president of Workforce Chaplains, and we offer your team a 24/7 support system that positively affects your company's culture and productivity. With our personalized pricing and diverse support system, we handle the issues that you wish you had time for. To learn more, visit us at workforcechaplains.com.
Our sense of smell stimulates memory and emotion. A scent can seemingly transport us to another place in time. Homemade, hand-poured candles and melts from spur-of-the-moment creations will give your nose the experience the rest of your body is missing during any season of the year. Crackling firewood, fresh-cut grass, Macintosh apple, and even racing fuel are some of their over 200 engaging fragrances. Visit spurofthemomentcreations.com and enter coupon code TODD at checkout to receive 15% off your order today.
Geothermal tax credits are back, making this the perfect time to install a new Climate Master geothermal system. Take advantage of this limited time 26% tax credit and begin cutting your heating and cooling bills immediately. Visit indianageothermal.com/info to get your free Climate Master information kit or call 317-829-1490. Visit indianageothermal.com/info or call 317-829-1490. Geothermal, it's cheaper than you think.
Do you use the expensive blue or yellow pills to charge your sex life? Are you thinking about it? What if we can promise you the same results for less than $3 a pill? If you're paying $20 a pill for the other pills, you're getting taken to the cleaners. Our pills deliver the exact same results for less than $3. You'll save more than $16 a pill for the same results. And right now, radio callers will get 44 blue or yellow pills for $120 with free discreet shipping. You can save more than $700 off pharmacy prices. Charge your sex life now and save a ton of money. Call now and get your 44 pills and save over $700 and qualify for free shipping. Stop overpaying and call right now.
800-764-9168. 800-764-9168. 800-764-9168. That's 800-764-9168.
Welcome back. So, for the break, talking about how this is setting up for Trump and the Republicans. Good. Kudos to Mitch McConnell. I think I said this yesterday. Kudos to Mitch McConnell for actually standing firm and standing strong. Standing next to, standing behind, upon your constitutional authority to do your job, to fill that seat. And it might sound weird if, I don't know, look, whether you are a new, someone who's just started following politics, whether you're someone who's followed it for some time, or whether you're an expert in all things political, you understand the details and the nuances and the just all things pertaining to American history and the Constitution and all this, case law, whatever your background, whatever your perspective, how much you know about these issues, it might change. Some folks may not really be aware of how wimpy Republicans have been over time. If you've only been following it for the past couple of years, and that's fine if you have, the important thing is that you are now, which that's something else I want to talk about. I want to talk about people who act as though politics is not their problem. I'm not saying you have to be a political animal, but you better pay attention to what these jokers are doing, because it absolutely affects your life. It affects how much money you have in your pocket. It affects how much freedom you have. It affects what you are allowed to say. It affects whether you can carry a gun to protect your family. It affects your ability to be safe if you decide to go to a city, right? The way that these jokers are responding to the police and violence, riots, defund, dismantle the police. It affects all aspects of your life. It affects your ability to pass things on to the next generation when it's time, when your time on this planet is coming to an end, and you want to bequeath that to someone. Whatever the case, it affects everything. It affects whether you can go to church in places, whether you can sing at church if you're there. These are things that it affects. Anyway, but I want to talk about that talk about that as well. But going back to this issue of President Trump and how he has empowered Republicans, I don't know if you haven't followed this for some time, at least I would say at least 5 years. I don't know if it's obvious to you, or if it would be obvious, period, just how far Republicans have come in my opinion, in this journey. As I said back in 2016, there were two things we were looking for, at least I was looking for in a president. One was a president who was actually conservative, one that was interested in returning America to her fundamental roots, her roots of limited government, of liberty, of low taxation, of the perspective, the mindset that says the government works for the people, not that the people are servants of the government. And I have to pause in the world that we live in today and say I'm not lumping in America's the way that slavery was part of this nation's founding. That is something that is, I find, reprehensible, and that is something that the founders created a way for that to be dealt with and eliminated, which is what we've seen. It took a civil war and all sorts of things, and some really dark times in America's history, some trying times, but also some really inspiring times when you look at some of the things that people did to eradicate slavery and to make to fight for the freedom of people who were once incorrectly and inexcusably viewed as property or slaves. Now they're viewed as people who, all people are viewed in the American system now as having the rights that are enumerated in the Constitution. All men are created equal. That statement that we find in the Declaration now applies to everyone. So I'm not taking that part out, but everything else that our founders did, I mean, it was brilliant. This system that they established, this focus on liberty, and it unleashed prosperity. It unleashed the freedom, what we have, what we can do when we're allowed to follow our own dreams, desires, call of God, whatever the case may be, as He has equipped us, as He has prepared us to live, to be able to pursue that wholeheartedly without any hesitation or fear, or maybe there's fear, maybe there's hesitation, but it's not because of the government. It's because of other things. It's because of other factors that we have to deal with in life, lack of faith or not being certain of what we should, whatever the case may be, not having resources or the background or knowledge or education or whatever the case may be. It's not the government, and it should not be the government. And so we needed two things back in 2016. We needed someone who embraced those constitutional concepts. Limited government and liberty is the simplest and quickest way to say it, but there's lots of things that fall under those umbrellas. But the other thing is we needed someone who was not a wimp. For Republicans, for conservatives like myself who had followed this for a quarter century, a half century now, whatever the length of time for, we've seen wimps, folks. We've seen wimps that refuse to stand up to Democrats, that refuse to stand up to the media, that refuse to define terms correctly, that refuse to push back on the way that they're maligned in the media, the way that they're attacked in the media, the way that they're misrepresented by the media and by the Democrat Party. They refuse to do this. And as a result, it's made the case for conservatism weaker, not because of the ideas, not because of the soundness of the ideology, but instead because of the intestinal fortitude or lack thereof of those who are carrying the banner or who have carried the banner supposedly of conservatism. They've often been wimpy, not strong enough. And so now that has changed. And so I know it might sound weird to say, if you've not followed politics in a while, kudos to Mitch McConnell. Kudos to Mitt Romney. Kudos, it sounds like, possibly to Lisa Murkowski. kudos to the Republican caucus in the Senate for agreeing that we are going to fulfill our constitutional authority. We're going to basically band together and make sure that we can exercise our constitutional authority no matter what the media says, no matter what the Democrat Party says, no matter what sorts of political retaliation and retribution the Democrats promise to levy upon us if they should ever win power. Now, I would actually say that could be a campaign that could help the Republican campaign. Folks, do you really want to elect a group of people that are promising political retribution, political retaliation? You tell us that you were looking for a country that can be at peace with itself again. Do you really think that we get there by electing people who have promised political retaliation and retribution? See, normally these tactics work, but they do not work with the Donald J. Trump in the White House. He has empowered not just that executive branch, folks, but he is, and I don't mean this in a bad way. I don't mean an abuse of your power. We don't want someone acting outside the scope of their constitutional power. So in that sense, I'm not talking to that kind of power. I'm just saying the power to fulfill your constitutional duties. The president has emboldened not just those in the White House, those on his team, but he's emboldened people in the Senate, in the House, people out in average, everyday middle America. I have a friend who's a town councilman. Trump, I think he would tell you, that has inspired the way he goes about his business. It's not always everybody's style, but I'll tell you this, he's cleaned up some problems. Anyway, long in this segment. Oz has given up telling me it's time to take a break, because it is time to take a break. Quick time out. You're listening to Conservative Not Bitter Talk. I am your host, Todd Huff. Back in just a minute.
Is it possible to be a fan of the show if you don't have the gear to prove it? Why not be safe and remove all doubt? Shop for official merchandise at toddhuffshow.com/shop today.
All your life, you've planned and taken care of the people you love. They always knew you had a plan. Taking care of your final wishes will give them one final gift. Buying your headstones direct through Thomas Monument saves your loved ones additional stress during a difficult time and saves money by cutting out the middleman. Call 317-244-6525 or go online to thomasmonument.com to understand why families have trusted us since 1962.
Are you one of the growing number of Hoosiers who are concerned about higher taxes, increased spending, and massive debt? So am I. I'm Donald Rainwater, the Libertarian candidate for governor of the state of Indiana. I believe that all Hoosier businesses provide the necessities of life to their owners and employees, and that all Hoosiers are essential. As your governor, I will safeguard your rights to life, liberty, property, and the pursuit of happiness as defined by you, not the government. To learn more, go to rainwaterforindiana.com. We need better government, not bigger government. My name's Donald Rainwater, and I approve this message. Paid for by Rainwater for Indiana.
Hi, this is Caleb with Gluff Plumbing. Does your home need some plumbing updates? Gluff Plumbing is your solution. We specialize in updating old plumbing, everything from water heaters to well pumps, to underground leaks and everything that has to do with water entering and leaving the home, including water and sewer main excavations. We pride ourselves on old-fashioned customer service. Call Gluff Plumbing at 765-721-6789 or visit gluffplumbing.com. That's GLUFF plumbing.com. Call us today.
The compassion of Christ. It's living life connecting to the broken and messy world. It's not simply walking down the street and dropping a quarter in someone's bucket. It's been perverted by Satan from biblical compassion to feeling sorry for, and sympathy isn't where God wants us to live. It's connecting to broken people in our daily life. Living the compassion of Christ.
Would you like to save 20% or more on your insurance? Let AIA and Avon do a free comparison for you. As an independent agent, we can find savings that fit your needs and budget. We work for you, not the insurance companies. Whether your insurance need is big or small, give AIA a call, 317-718-1747, or find out what we can do for you at AIA4lowrates.com.
The printing industry has changed a lot since we opened for business in 1931, but what our clients expect from us really hasn't changed. Quality print, fast turnaround, and competitive prices. We've learned a lot at Moeller Printing over 86 years and 3 generations. Why not put that experience to work for you? Call 317-353-2224 and mention discount code RADIO to receive 10% off your first order. Call Moeller Printing at 317-353-2224.
Hey Indianapolis, by now you've probably heard about Jody Dowdle with Midwest Tax Group. Jody and his team are experts at helping you prepare your personal or small business tax returns. You can count on Midwest Tax Group to get every deduction possible and work for your higher refund. And not just on this year's taxes, they'll check your prior returns for any tax savings you may have missed for free. Are you behind on filing your returns? They can file past due returns and help negotiate with the IRS too. They complete most tax returns within a week and charge an affordable flat fee, no hourly billing. And as their client, you can consult with the team at Midwest Tax Group year-round at no charge. Midwest Tax Group has 4 office locations in Castleton, Greenwood, Plainfield, and Greenfield, with evening and weekend appointments available. Schedule your appointment today at 317-288-5260. That's 317-288-5260. Or visit their website at mwtaxgroup.com. Midwest Tax Group can help you more than any piece of software ever could.
Welcome back. I mentioned earlier in the program, by the way, this is going to be a really short segment because I was long-winded last segment, but I mentioned earlier that if Trump nominates Amy Coney Barrett for the High Court, Amy Coney Barrett is Catholic, and some have postulated, some have predicted even, that if this is the case, we're about to witness a lot of anti-Catholic bigotry in this nomination process. And of course, 6 weeks out from an election, is this really a good idea? I saw a poll. I don't know what I think about polls, other than I'm skeptical of polls. I think that they consistently lean to the left. I think that that's demonstrable. Sometimes just a couple of points, sometimes several points. But it's almost always the case that polling overrepresents the numbers from the left and from the Democrats than they do from conservatives and from Republicans. Maybe it's easier to reach people for polling who are in the basement of mommy and daddy's house, since they don't work, than it is to reach Republicans, conservatives. I don't know, but there's this component of this. But I saw that Biden, in one poll, was up 12 points among Catholic voters over Trump, which is crazy to me because the central issue for Catholic voters, I would think, or at least one of the really core issues, would be the issue of abortion. I mean, I would think, based upon I'm not Catholic, I'm a Protestant, but my Catholic friends and brothers and sisters, I would think, would, from what I know about Catholicism, I've got friends who are Catholic. I don't know how they reconcile this, how they reconcile, if this poll is in fact correct, that they're choosing Biden over Trump. Just if you look at their stances on abortion, pro-life issues, it should be as clear as day. Trump should be up, well, I'd say 100%. I'd say 100%. But anyway, so there's going to be all sorts of political calculations done, but some of these folks in the Senate, they're politically immune. There's no consequence because they've been elected in places that it doesn't matter what they do. They're not going to lose. They can say whatever they want, make any allegation. They can malign, attack any group of people. And so this might happen, and this might hurt other people running for office who are Democrats by association here if they attack her faith, which, again, you say, Todd, why are you jumping to this conclusion? Well, because I'm basing it upon what we saw in 2018 with Brett Kavanaugh. 2018 with Brett Kavanaugh. I mean, it went completely off the rails. They attacked this guy, maligned this guy to the point to where he wasn't even allowed to coach his girls' little league basketball team because he was basically viewed as some sexual predator. And they ruined this guy's reputation, publicly dragged him through the mud, put us through things that never had to happen. They never had to happen. They happened because the Democrats politically wanted them to happen. This is how they operate. Not every Democrat that you know, but those in positions of power in Washington, D.C. absolutely act like this. It's on display for all of us to see. And so it seems to stand to reason that there's at least conversations as to whether or not they're going to go after her Catholic faith, the role of faith in a Supreme Court justice's mind, whatever that might look like. They might straight up attack Catholicism. I want to talk about that. I want to talk to my Christian brothers and sisters too. And I know if you're listening to this program, you're not you're engaged in politics, but you undoubtedly know people who are Christians who say, I'm just not interested in politics. And I get that to a point. But I want to talk about maybe how to talk to those people, especially as we may be embarking upon an attack on Amy Coney Barrett's faith. Again, who knows? Maybe we get through it without having to go through that. But the idea that they just accept defeat here and that the court is going to be tipped further away from liberal judicial activists towards those who actually try to interpret the law and the Constitution, they're not going to take that lightly. This is, as I've said before, this is kind of like their holy priesthood. This is how they view this. For those in the portion of the radical left that's the atheist, godless radical left, this is their God. So talk about that quickly as we're coming to an end here this hour. Sit tight. You're listening to the home of conservative, not bitter talk. Be back here in just a minute.
Looking to make a conservative, not bitter fashion statement? Check out our apparel online, including brand new items at toddhuffshow.com/shop today.
Corn Homes is expanding their 55-plus community. Briar Creek is the only senior manufactured home community in Indianapolis featuring Indiana-built homes. Floor plans and finishes starting at $75,000. Enjoy affordable, low-maintenance lifestyle with the charm of a residential neighborhood. Located minutes from I-465 in Fort Harrison State Park. Corn Homes, family-owned and operated since 1955. Check us out at COHRONhomes.com. Mention the Todd Huff Show and receive a $1,000 discount on your new home.
This is the sound of your typical do-it-yourselfer in completely over his head.
For heating, plumbing,
and electrical done right.
Call Mr. Quick. Call Mr. Quick. Dial the number, spell the words. For on time.
Anxiety, depression, relationship problems, past trauma. Problems rarely get better when given time. Care to Change Counseling can help. Our professionals combined evidence-based care models with scripture to get you on the path to a productive life. We are here to help you make the changes you need for a healthier, happier you. Take that brave step today. Call Care to Change at 317-790-9396 or visit caretochange.org.
We all know having health insurance doesn't always equal health care. That's why at Freedom HealthWorks, we believe the key to maintaining good health is based on a straightforward, personal relationship with your physician. With our direct doctor-patient relationship model, we remove your healthcare middleman and replace him with transparent pricing and incentive to call your doctor at the first sign of illness. So if you're ready to experience real care from a doctor that really cares about you, go to freedomhealthworks.com and learn more about the benefits of our direct primary care model. Freedom HealthWorks. Be treated better.
Our partner, Global Plasma Solutions, has published ionization testing results that demonstrate a 99.4% reduction rate on a SARS-CoV-2 COVID-19 surface strain within 30 minutes. This is the first instance that an air purification company has effectively neutralized SARS-CoV-2. Commercial Service Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing is installing this solution in businesses and homes in South Central Indiana. Get your free information kit at commercialservice.com/info. Commercial Service, commercial grade service for your home.
Our word can't be diluted, because we are taught that a promise is a commitment in which you always follow through. No ifs, ands, or buts. So every time you walk through Greg Hubler Chevrolet doors, you can count on the advice and expertise we provide you. Because when we make a promise, we keep it. Greg Hubler Chevrolet. Promise kept. Visit GregHublerChevy.com. Find new roads.
What if your bank treated you like a person instead of an account number? What if you could sit across from the person you are opening an account with or requesting a loan from and have an actual conversation? You may be thinking, Todd, that's crazy talk. Well, not at Citizens Bank. Come visit them in Monrovia and meet Nick Gibson, their new branch manager, and the rest of their staff. Or give them a call at 317-831-0110. Citizens Bank is an equal housing lender and member FDIC. Welcome back. Fox and friends must be listening to this program. They would be well advised to do that. But as I'm looking here, literally as I was going to break, appears that Refinery 29 and Newsweek, again, I'm looking at a Fox News screenshot here, how charismatic Catholic groups like Amy Coney Barrett's People of Praise inspired The Handmaid's Tale. I had to get a little bit of education from Oz here behind the scenes on what exactly The Handmaid's Tale was, but that's effectively the patriarchy, a group of religious fundamentalists in America's history that established this dystopian society. Of course, just a bunch of bad stuff from not allowing women to choose, to not allowing for freedom, and basically ruling as though they have control over people's lives as part of their religious doctrine and so forth. That was Newsweek. Refinery 29's headline, did Amy Coney Barrett's religious group inspire The Handmaid's Tale? So this is a part of what may be coming. These could just be outliers, but again, what we know from the media, what we know from the radical left, this is par for the course. And by the way, I guess Trump met, I didn't know he met with her yet. I thought he was meeting with her, Amy Coney Barrett, later this week. But I guess he'd met with her earlier this week. But he'd mentioned meeting possibly with a couple of others. Anyway, as we move towards Saturday when he's going to announce the pick. Anyway, really quickly as we're dwindling, time is dwindling here. But, you probably know Christians who say things like God is in control. God doesn't let it. God is absolutely in control. But he allows us to be idiots sometimes. He allows us we were created to be free. And so while God is certainly in control, we have a role in this. In fact, the Bible tells us that we're God's workmanship. We're kind of working alongside God. He's the boss. We're not God, but he wants us to work alongside him. And when we stop doing that in an aspect of our life, bad things can happen. And that's for the Christians who basically say, look, whoever God wants to be president or whatever form of government, whatever law that's passed, I don't want to engage in that because God's in control. Of course God's in control, but God's also in control of what food that we have. But I think Christians still get up and go to work. I think Christians still provide for their family. I think Christians still take their children to church, teach them biblical values, tell them stories. Why would we draw the line at politics? Is it because it's intimidating? I don't understand that. Again, I'm talking to my Christian friends, or for those of you who know Christians who disengage from politics because of this I think, erroneous notion that we're not supposed to be involved, we're not supposed to care, God's in control, whatever happens is God's will. You look at the whole Old Testament as stories of people who stood up. I don't say the whole, but a big chunk of it. I'm thinking of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, Daniel, Ruth, Esther. All these standing up to things that were happening bad, oftentimes from government leaders, with Pharaoh, with the example of Moses. There's lots of examples like that. We need to do that here, and I'm out of time. Quick timeout, come back and wrap up. Be back in just a minute.
Like what you hear on Todd's show? Why not get more by signing up for Todd's free Semi-Sweet Morsels of Truth newsletter. To subscribe, visit toddhuffshow.com/subscribe or text HUFF to 31996.
You rely on your vehicle every day. It's not a member of the family, but you spend as much time with it as most family members. You wouldn't take your family to just any doctor, so don't trust your vehicle to just any repair service. At Raymond's Auto and Truck Repair in Plainfield, we have well-trained, caring technicians that have the expertise to get you back on the road. For 25 years, we've been servicing personal, commercial, and fleet vehicles. Give us a call at 317-838-7112 for the car service you deserve.
Do you use the expensive blue or yellow pills to charge your sex life? Are you thinking about it? What if we can promise you the same results for less than $3 a pill? If you're paying $20 a pill for the other pills, you're getting taken to the cleaners. Our pills deliver the exact same results for less than $3. You'll save more than $16 a pill for the same results. And right now, radio callers will get 44 blue or yellow pills for $120 with free discreet shipping. You can save more than $700 off pharmacy prices. Charge your sex life now and save a ton of money. Call now and get your 44 pills and save over $700 and qualify for free shipping. Stop overpaying and call right now.
800-764-9168. 800-764-9168. 800-764-9168. That's 800-764-9168.
Did you know that there are 21,000 chimney fires annually? It's one of the reasons why it's so important to have a CSIA certified chimney technician clean and inspect your chimney every year. Keep your family safe by joining our 3-year sweep and inspection plan. And mention Todd to be entered to win $1,000 in cash. Contact Smalling Masonry, a Christian-owned business, at 317-903-8121 to learn more today.
Hi, this is Caleb with Gluff Plumbing. Does your home need some plumbing updates? Gluff Plumbing is your solution. We specialize in updating old plumbing, everything from water heaters to well pumps, to underground leaks and everything that has to do with water entering and leaving the home, including water and sewer main excavations. We pride ourselves on old-fashioned customer service. Call Gluff Plumbing at 765-721-6789 or visit gluffplumbing.com. That's GLUFF plumbing.com. Call us today.
If you own a rental property, you know the hassles of marketing, renting, collecting, and the handling of maintenance and repairs. One call to Zuluscape can put an end to your property management headaches. Zuluscape has over 20 years of experience helping landlords throughout central Indiana and taking the stress out of owning a rental. From A to Z, let Zuluscape handle it all so you can enjoy owning a rental instead of hating being a landlord. Give us a call at 317-663-8485 or visit our website at zuluscape.com.
Does your business have a plan for social media marketing? Are you reaching the right audiences through Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and the list goes on? Are you learning from the data? Jarbo can help. Our team doesn't just come in and tell you how to be successful. We help you execute and measure your sales and marketing efforts. Give us a call at 317-834-6560 or visit us online at jarbomarketing.com. That's jarbomarketing.com. Make social media work for you.
All right, folks, that is all the time we have today. I want to tell you something too. This is a 2-hour program. We're also self-syndicated. So that basically means that there's a lot of things that we do with our program that as we grow, there's things that I've got to manage. And so for the next little bit, we're going to be just down to 1 hour so I can tend to some other things as we experience some, it's good. It's all, we're dealing with growth and trying to figure a few things out as we continue to grow and improve the program. So anyway, bear with me. That will be returning second hour very soon. Got to go, SDG. Thanks for listening. Take care.
Are you concerned about your investments? Intrepid